So I'm here setting up to shoot this episode, and I'm looking out the window, and it is a beautiful, sunny, 21-degree spring day in Toronto. Nah, let's go outside. What if it were possible for you to design the life that you want for yourself? Choosing your own adventure, finding the fun, following your own legend. And guess what? It is. This podcast, and more specifically this episode, is a perfect example of me doing this. I was gonna sit on my couch and talk into the camera, but it's so nice outside. And I just felt compelled to get out, get on a bike, and ride. So I have these Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses, and I don't know if you know about them, but they have cameras in them. So basically you can see what I see. And I thought, how cool would it be for me to just take you with me? So here we are, enjoying the sights and sounds of Toronto while I record my podcast. And I can do that because it's mine, and I decide what it is. Now this may not seem significant, but it really is when you apply this ideology to your entire life. With that in mind, I'll say it again. It's mine, and I decide what it is. And when I say live actually, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Making intentional choices to create a life of purpose and enjoyment. Because honestly, when you simplify, when you really break things down, what else is there? Let me tell you about this book that I love. You may have heard of it. It's called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Brilliant book, incredible book. I actually read it like once a year, just as a refresher. And it's a quick read. It's just under 200 pages. But there's so much value, so many important life lessons in this short fictional story. Now, without spoiling it, because I highly recommend that you read it for yourself, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. The main character, his name is Santiago. He sets off on a journey, an epic journey from his home in Spain that lands him in Egypt. And he's on the hunt. He's trying to find this treasure. But in the process, it turns out what he finds is way more valuable. He finds his unique purpose, his destiny in life. Ultimately, he finds his why. Again, this is a fictional story, but what I learned and continue to learn from this book every time I read it is that finding your why makes life so much clearer. Think about it this way. If you right now, if you had $100 million in your bank account, what would you spend your days doing? And don't give me that I do absolutely nothing. I'm not talking about if you just won the lottery yesterday and you got rich and you're gonna just veg out. I get it. But I also get that would get real boring real fast. But imagine you always had money. This is not new. You had money from time. What would you spend your days doing? You can pretty much do whatever you want. So I'd be willing to bet that you choose things that make you happy, things that you love. But guess what? You don't have to be financially wealthy to be happy. Identifying what you love most, what you're most passionate about, and then pursuing it relentlessly will by default bring you happiness. It'll bring you fulfillment and a sense of meaning to your existence. Baby, it's a wild world we're living in. Finding your why helps to make sense of it. It's funny. This is an important lesson that I've learned over the years in many different ways. But when I look back on my life, I can honestly say that most of my major decisions have been in alignment with this way of thinking, even before I recognized what I was doing. Everything from taking up DJing originally, which is like over 20 years ago now, to starting this podcast last week, and even to recording this episode in this way. It's all been done with the intention of spending as much time as possible doing the things that I love the most. I have so many stories, and I'm so excited to share them with you. But for now, I'll leave you with this. Everything you see me doing, every single thing that you see, I choose to do. And if getting paid for these things wasn't possible, I'd still be doing them anyway. I couldn't tell you the amount of times that I've been on stage or in a DJ booth, rocking it somewhere in the world, and it dawns on me. I have a moment of clarity where I'm like, oh shit, I get paid for this. I'm at work right now. Sometimes I even say it out loud to the people around me. I'm like, yo, this is my job. It's wild. It is incredible. It's extraordinary. And I know that it's a blessing. I also know that it's a result of choices that I made and work that I put in. I don't take any of it for granted, but I do it because it's awesome. I do it because I love it. And the fact that I get paid the way I get paid to do this, that's everything right there. It's like, is this real life? And yes, it is. But the fact remains that money is not my reason for doing this. Actually, when I first started, I didn't even know this was something that I could earn a living doing. I just wanted to spend all my time doing it because I just loved it. A large part of my origin story was me heading to the club at like 9:30 p.m. Club opens at 10. I'd be outside waiting for the DJs to pull up so I could help them carry their record crates in, yes, records. And in exchange, they'd let me hang out. I could chill in the DJ booth, be a fly on the wall. I just wanted to be around it. There was no money in that. There was no money for me. I just wanted to be around the thing that I thought was so fascinating. And I wanted to learn. And I wanted to do what they were doing. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't even know that they were making, I didn't know what kind of money they were making. I had no idea. Didn't matter. The thought never even entered my mind. I just wanted to be there. It was just so exciting. And I still feel that same way 20 plus years later. Obviously, from a different vantage point, I am now the one doing the thing. But I'm just still so excited and exhilarated by doing this. It's my passion. And money was never my reason. It wasn't then, and it isn't now. My reason is simple. Happiness. I want to live a happy life, so I do things that make me happy. Sounds simple when you say it like that, and it really is. And now, don't get me wrong, I understand my value, and therefore I get money. But I truly believe that the reason I'm successful at everything that I do is that I love this shit. I'm passionate about it. These are the things that make me happy, and I'm so excited to get up in the morning and do these things every day. I'm down to put in way more than 10,000 hours. I put in 100,000. I put in 1,000,000 hours. And if you ask me, that right there, that's the sauce. So I ask again, if you could spend your days doing anything you want, what would it be? Me? That's creating. Creating music, creating moments, creating film, creating a life of happiness, creating what I want, how I want, with the freedom to decide what that looks like each and every single day. And today, that's taking a bike ride down to the lake and enjoying this weather while sharing my thoughts with you in the form of my very own podcast. This is my show. Wow, wee, wow, I have a show. Now, if you're still searching for your why in life, don't worry. It's out there. Everybody's got their something. I hope that you find inspiration in part or all of what I've said here, or in some aspect of the way that I live my life, or in some or all of the pages of the book I recommended, or something I or one of my guests share in another episode of this show. What I'm trying to say is, I hope this podcast helps you find it. And if you've already found your why, I hope you understand how special that is, how dope that is. And all you got to do now is just really identify it and pursue it relentlessly. And I promise you, if you do that, not only will you find happiness, you'll also get really, really awesome at that thing. And when you're awesome at things, people will pay to enjoy your awesomeness. And that, my friends, is a hell of a life. Thank you for tuning in to Live Actually. I am Four Corners. Meet me here every Wednesday for a new episode. And if you want to tap in with me directly, visit my website, fourcorners.com. And that's number 4 and corners with a K. Big love. And I'll see you next week.